in the home stretch. We're on more human topics. I mean, all that was kind of human topics, but I mean, more on the brain side of things. New evidence highlights a serious flaw in our perception of autism. The more we learned about autism, the more egregious our old misconceptions seem. New research conducted on mice shows how male and female brains may be equally prone to autism, adding to the evidence suggesting that the condition has been significantly underestimated in women. The findings represent an urgent need to include male and female subjects in the study of autism spectrum disorder, says a team led by neuroscientist Manish Kumar Tripathi of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Historically, autism has been thought of and studied as, treated and diagnosed as a primarily male disorder. Boys are significantly more likely to be diagnosed with autism than girls, and the diagnostic criteria has traditionally been based on male presentations of autism. In recent years, however, experts have begun to question this established understanding of the disorder, suggesting that there might be a feedback loop that excludes girls. Since the diagnosis criteria are male-centric, more boys are referred for diagnosis, and then diagnosed at the rate of around 4 boys to every girl. Boys, therefore, are more frequently the subject of autism research, leading to a biased confirmation to the gendered nature of autism. We don't know what causes autism, but the researchers decided to investigate the development of synaptic impairment in 2 well-established models of autism spectrum disorder, using 2 separate mouse lineages with human-based mutations. The researchers studied the social behavior of their mice, as well as their brain development and levels of protein that are important for synaptic signaling. Compared to mice without the mutations, the model mice had lower spine density, that is, fewer spines protruding from their dendrites of their neurons, and lower levels of signaling proteins. This, the researchers say, suggests the brains of the model mice do not develop in the same way as normal mice. In addition, the model mice have social defects. Crucially, there was no difference between male and female mouse brains in these traits, nor were the social behaviors. Previous studies have attributed to the imbalance in diagnosis to what is known as the female protective effect, which shields girls from presenting with autistic traits. It's not really known what the cause of this is. Some studies suggest that it takes a higher number of mutations for girls to exhibit autistic traits, giving them a greater biological resistance to autism. Others argued that females are just as impacted with greater ranges of internalized disorders than males, but only those with more severe autisms being diagnosed because female symptoms present differently. For example, while boys with autism are more likely to isolate themselves, young girls appear to socialize typically, at least at first. But their differences are picked up by their peers over time, leading difficulties to maintain long-term relationships. I wonder how that feels. The work of Tripathi and his colleagues support the latter theory, as they found that the female brains are not more resistant to autism at all. They suggest that in addition to presenting differently, girls are more likely to camouflage their autistic traits than boys, and that has been deeply under-recognized and understudied. Our study understands the need to consider both sexes in ADSD investigations. The observed similarities in synaptic alterations between male and female ASD mice challenged the traditional focus on males, urging the scientific community to broaden its approach and include females in ASD studies. All right, Real genetic variants are curiously connected with being left-handed. Oh my god. There's more things wrong with me left-handed? Yes, I am left-handed. A new study has associated rare variants of specific genes with the development of left-handedness in humans. Learning how these variants make left-handers different from in other ways could help solve mysteries such as how genes can make people more likely to have neurodevelopmental disorders or develop neurodegenerative diseases. Researchers from the Max Planck Institute of Psycholinguistics at the Netherlands studied genetic data from more than 350,000 people. They also came across some potential similarities and differences between brain-related disorders and rare coding factors that contribute to left-handedness. Restricted orientations resembling the mirrored reflections of human hands are surprisingly common in biologies. Even molecules have a consistent orientation referred to as their triality. The building blocks of protein usually have structures described as left-handed, for example, while the DNA found naturally in all living things twists up in a right-handed fashion. But why nature holds preferences for particular skews isn't always obvious. It seems like those of us who have two hands that appear equally handy, attached to two equally useful arms, should be equally likely to be right-handed or left-handed, but only about 10% of people are left-handed. This overall bias is broadly consistent across continents and has been stable throughout human history, geneticist Clyde Franks and the colleagues write in their published paper. Left-handers are more prevalent among those with certain neurodevelopmental disorders. And handedness and language are closely related, which has prompted an extensive research with a growing body of evidence implicating our genes. A twin-based study found that left-handedness is inherited in about 1 in 4 cases. Brain I said this word earlier in the stream. Asymmetries that cause hand dominance start to form early in life, and a baby's hand preference can be seen while they're still in the womb. Researchers have started to identify some of the genes responsible for our left hand by taking tasks that our opposite hand is somehow super awkward at, like writing. A study of 400,000 individual records in 2019 uncovered the first 4 genetic regions linked to left-handedness. In 2020, a genome-wide association of study of over 1.7 million people found that 41 gene variants that influence being left-handed. Implicated genes include several that encode tubulins, microtubule components, or microtubule associated proteins, the researchers explain. Here we examine whether left-handedness is also influenced by rare coding variants. The researchers examined genetic data from more than 350,000 people in the UK Biobank to determine the impact of rare gene variants on left-handedness. Their analysis concluded that 38,043 left-handed and 271 right-handed people. They researched for specific genes linked to the left-handedness and calculated how much of these rare genes changes altogether might influence. At the population level, they found the inheritability of left-handedness within these rare coding variants around 1%. Franks and his team discovered that people who are left-handed are 2.7 times more likely to have rare coding variants in a gene called TUBB4B that codes for tubulins that make microtubules. Microtubules form part of the cytoskeleton that gives cells their shape, and they're important for neuron development, migration, and plasticity. It is not known how microtubules affect individual variation in human-handedness, writes the authors, but it's been suggested that they may contribute to the cellular chirality early in brain development, and thereby organistic formation of the brain's left-right axis. They didn't find any association between left-handedness and any of the 9 genes implicated in neurodegenerative diseases by large-scale exome studies. However, they did find that people with variations in 2 genes previously associated with autism, DSCAM and FOXP1, particularly have substantially higher chances of being left-handed. Whoa! Most left-handed people don't have autism. But the higher rate of left-handedness may be due to the rare genetic changes, the author suggested. When DSCAM or FOXP1 mutations contribute to autism, it's possible that changes in the left-right axis development of the brain are part of the cause. The study reveals a role for rare protein-altered variants in left-handedness, providing further evidence for involvement for microtubulars and disorder-relevant genes. Franks and the colleagues would think it's likely that a rare variant association mapping in larger studies will implicate even more genes in left-handedness. All right, on to the last one, which I think might help any of us, all of us, who knows? Brain imaging experiments reveals the secret behind creative flow. Getting into the zone while being creative can be tricky, even if you've been there before. People strive for this famous mental state in a wide range of endeavors, many hoping for just even a few moments of fun, effortless productivity. Also known as flow, the state of mind is a real psychological phenomenon, albeit still poorly understood one. A new study by researchers from Drexel University in the United States sheds light on what's happening inside a human brain during flow and provides insight on how to achieve it. The study points to 2 key factors underpinning the state of creative flow: extensive experience in an activity and the relinquishing of conscious control. Over time, the deep experience nurtures a network of brain regions adept at generating the kinds of ideas you're looking for, the researchers explain, while giving up conscious control allows this network to take the steering wheel. Oh no. Oh no. I'm just gonna say your first name. First identified and studied last century by renowned psychologist Mahali. I'm not even going to try and slaughter your last name. I am so sorry. Creative flow refers to an immersive mental state that seems to foster enjoyment, inspiration, and determination. As Mahali says, put it, flow is a state in which people are so involved in an activity that nothing seems to matter. The experience is so enjoyable that people will continue to do it, even at great cost, for the sheer sake of doing it. I mean, as a autistic person, that happens a lot. A total of 32 jazz guitarists were recruited for this latest study, ranging in age from 18 to 55 years old. The volunteers had between 4 to 33 years of musical training under their belts. An electroencephalogram, EEG. At least I know what EEG is. Cap recorded brain activity while each guitarist jammed in sessions lasting about 90 minutes. As previous research shown, the musical improvisations seem to activate brain regions associated with self-expression, including language and visual imagery, while quieting other areas associated with inhibition. In this new study, researchers aim to address a lingering question about the nature of flow. By some accounts, a flow is a state of hyperfocus that shuts down our distractions, thus optimizing performance on a particular task. But as Mahali, I'm slaughtering this name, but so sorry, himself noted, people who experience flow often describe it less being hyper-focused and more as letting it go. Like letting one's self be carried by flowing water. To test these two views of creative flow, researchers hooked up guitarists to high densities EEGs and asked each of them to improvise 6 jazz songs with programmed accompaniment by drums, bass, and piano. Afterwards, the guitarists rated their intensity of their flow experience. Researchers ended up with 92 recordings of the guitarist's jazz improvisations, which they then played individually for 4 jazz experts who rated each for their creativity and other attributes. The research team also analyzed the EEGs to find out which parts of the guitarist's brains were associated with high flow improvisations. Guitarists with longer experience had more frequent and more intense creative flows while improvising than less experienced guitarists, the study found. Expertise from experience is part of the secret to flow, but it's not quite that simple, the researchers note. The EEGs also showed a reduced activity in the superior frontal gyri, a brain region associated with executive control. This finding fits with the idea that creative flow relies partly on decreased conscious control, or going with the flow. Overall, the new study supports an experience plus release concept of creative flow, explains co-author John Konas, director of the Creativity Research Lab. A practical implication of these results is that productive flow states can be attained by practice to build up expertise in a particular creative outlet, coupled with training to withdraw conscious control when enough expertise has been achieved. This can be the basis for new techniques for instructing people to produce creative ideas. This method could be useful to anyone, he points out. If you want to be able to stream ideas fluently, then keep working on those musical scales, physics problems, or whatever you want to do creatively. Computer coding, fiction writing, you name it. But then try letting go. As Charlie Parker said, you've got to learn your instrument, then you practice, and then when you finally get up there on the bandstand, forget all that and just wail. Alright, this is all the ones that I have for right now. Voice is already going. I know these streams won't be the longest. Of them, mainly because I have to read the loud mostly. But all right. Fox, are you there? Nope, Fox is not here. I don't see a fox. All right, I will try and find somebody to raid. Oh, I know. Let's raid Pando. No reason, though. I'm not going to pay attention to it because he is playing Strikers. Well, as much. All right, y'all. This was Ishnai Ciarfox. Tomorrow I will be returning with Persona 5. Remember, these streams happen every first Thursday of every month. It's science streams. If you have any interesting articles, send it to me and I'll see if we'll show it on the stream for next month. All right. Cool. Credits. It's Ishnai Ciarfox. I hope you have a good day or night, whenever it is, wherever it is you currently are. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment, and also send me articles.